This is going to be a short series about joints. For example, the finger joint, dovetail, miter joint. We're going to test them out and see how hard they are to make for beginners. As a beginning woodworker, how hard is it to make a finger joint? Surprisingly easy. I can say this because I am a beginning woodworker. So there are different types of tools that you need to create a finger joint. To be fair, it's really simple if you want to just do it. If you want to do it like create a tight joint, that's actually going to look very nice. That means a joint without these holes that you can look through. I mean, you can fix this by just putting some plates in it, and that's what I've done on this one. This one you can't really see that it's not straight, but right here, up on the top one, I had a huge hole. So I put a plate in there, and that was rather easy. You can see that in the time lapse. You just glue it up and put it in. So this is used for corners like this, and you can combine wood pieces like this. But how do you make it? Okay, it's pretty simple. I mean, you just cut out these parts that interlock. And what do you need? Something to draw with, and something to, oh, there we go, saw with. If you want to do it properly, you should probably clamp it down as well. But that's like the bare minimum. For this one I used my table saw. You don't need to do that, and to be fair, this looks horrible. Well, it looks fine from afar. As you can see, you're gonna have to be very careful with this. What I recommend, I think, after trying this out as a pure novice, is, you know, just taking away the midsection and leaving the corner areas, so that you can do that with more precision tools if you have them. And what I mean with precision tools is, for example, one of these, a chisel. What I would also recommend having, but you don't need to have it, is an angle, a straight one. You don't need to have that. I mean, you can just, like I did on this one, you can just put one piece on top of the other. You can draw in your lines, cut it out from the first one, and then place your first one on top of your second one. And then I would use a Stanley knife and cut off the fibers of the wood, right? So you take this one on top of the other, you clamp it down so that it doesn't move, put it down on a surface, and then use your Stanley knife, cut out the inside edges. And always, when making this kind of joinery, you should rather make it too tight than too loose. If you have it very loose, like this, your joint is not going to be very strong. Public service announcement. You can put some plugs underneath this to actually get some music, or if you have a bigger budget than I do, buy some with Bluetooth. So the thing is, know when to use this and when to just use, you know, a butt joint. It all depends on how the stress translates through the joint. I mean, if this joint is not going to be going through a lot of stress, you're not going to put any heavy things here that push out on the corner, or perhaps it only pushes out this way, or, you know, depending on all of those factors, the different sort of joinery have different applications. Some would say that the dovetail is, you know, the end-all, be-all of woodworking. The dovetail looks very good. It's a beautiful joint. But according to the tests that I've seen, the dovetail is not the strongest joint. In fact, the finger joint and the miter joint are very much stronger. I'm going to link below to a video that goes through like all of the breaking points of the different joints. But then again, bear in mind, they are doing this, right? They're cracking it out like so. I don't want to break it. They're cracking it out like so. Depending on what you want to do and how the stress is going to be transferring to your piece, if it's a twist, right? Or if it's just a pure break. If it's one side that's being broken down, everything is something that you need to, like, you have to account for all of those factors when you make your joint. And perhaps the most important thing, because most of the joints are going to be good enough, The most important thing is, what do you want to make? I wanted to make a finger joint. So I did. Why do you want two pieces of wood to stick together? You want your joint to look cool. You want it to be stronger than a butt joint. The butt joint. Well, hopefully. And you want to have some unique edge to it. Recommendations or pieces of advice for you when you start off making finger joints, as you do make your own. Make sure that you take your time. My big mistake here was that I took too much with the table saw without closely fitting it. Oh, I'm a bit narrow here, but who cares? When you get close to having an actual fit, go take a cup of coffee. Take a breather. If you smoke, go smoke. Do anything that you need to do to calm your nerves. Don't rush it. Because in the end, the last, like the final fitting is what makes this look good. So let's make a miter joint. I'm going to make a shortcut because I can. But this is the idea. You take pieces of wood and then you cut 245 degrees. I'm going to make one cut just to show you how it works. Alright, a perfect cut with no issues whatsoever. Didn't catch at all. Alright, so we cut out what we needed for a miter joint, which is this one. 2 times 45 degrees equals 90 degrees equals a corner. Let me show you. Perfect cut. When you glue these two surfaces together, you're going to get a very, very strong bond. And also, you see no end grain here, which not only looks more beautiful, but it also makes the piece less susceptible to water. So let's glue this together and continue on with our journey. All right, so ignore the red spots. Chisel sharp. All right, so what you do is that you put glue on these sides here, like so. Make sure that you get a good connection. You put on some glue, and then you let that sit for like, let's say a couple of minutes, depending on the humidity in your area. Where I am right now, we're like -1 degree Celsius, which is, for you Americans out there, it's cold. Water freezes. So for me, it doesn't really matter. So what you do is that you can just squeeze this together, and look at this nice joint. So what you see here is that, well, maybe you don't see it, but I can feel that the wood is not, well, it's a little bit grained. What I could do is that I could go over with my chisel and start working on that to get like this perfect joint. Or I could do as you're supposed to do and leave it be and just go over with sandpaper afterwards, because, bear with me, nothing looks correct the first time, and nothing looks right to the one who makes it. Because every time you do something, you learn something. And whenever you learn something, you know that you should have done it a different way. Which is why it's fun for me to be a novice woodworker, showing you guys what I do. And obviously, you guys look at this and you think, huh, you should have done that in a different way. And trust me, I know, but I didn't when I started. That is a lie. I got this garage, which is my workshop. The reason this looks good is because you see it from afar. Butt joint